It's getting a little uncomfortable realizing how long ago some parts of my life are. I was ordained a little more than 8 years ago, in early December of 2011. It was a remarkable occasion. I still feel it deeply. But one of the things that was the most special was the chance to have my mother preach at my own ordination. When we sat down in committee and I said, "So Mom, you're on the ordination committee, what would you like to do?" And she responded instantly, "I want to preach." "Did you think you were going to give me another job?" She gave a sermon that day, and as with so many things of that day, I don't remember a lot. There is a memory of the emotion and of things that we said and things that were sung, but if there's been one phrase from my ordination that has stuck with me, it was the call of my mother's sermon, the refrain. She said several times, she said, "Most of all, as a pastor, love your people. Love your people." And I'll admit, when I first got started in ministry, I sort of took that in and I said, yeah, okay, love my people. But how do I help congregations change? Or I thought, yes, love my people, but sort of on a technical level, how do I handle clergy taxes? I got bogged down in the details of the work and of the day-to-day. And I held on to this phrase. Obviously, it has sat with me ever since, but I didn't know what to do with it for a really long time. I tried really hard to love my people at both of my first two calls, but I was making two really big and elemental mistakes in trying hard to love my people. The first was, I did not love myself. That second great commandment of Christ, love the Lord your God with all your heart and mind and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. That second commandment is tricky because if you don't love yourself, you can't love your neighbor. If you treat yourself like garbage, there is no space for you to treat your neighbor like anything else. And that is hard. I'm not talking about liking yourself. I'm not talking about an inflation of the ego. I'm talking about loving yourself, about showing yourself affection and care and patience and kindness and all of the things that Paul mentions. But the second reason that I struggled to love my people as a pastor in my early days was that I did not give it time. The first thing that Paul says love is in 1 Corinthians 13, the first thing that he says that it is patient. And patient, as a friend of mine said to me recently, is what we in the business call a growing edge of mine. In older business parlance, we would have said it's a challenge that we need to overcome. Patience has been a struggle for me for years. And so when I landed at my two previous calls, I was so gung-ho. I was all in on I'm going to be here, and I'm going to love these people, and I'm going to be their pastor, and it's going to be awesome. And I didn't provide the time. I didn't give it space to grow. I insisted that my pastoral relationships start at a 9 and only go up from there. When I think about what it means to me to be here now, serving with you all, I think a lot about Jeremiah in the passage that Dick read. I think about how tempted I am to be with Jeremiah in taking a call and being like, I don't know, Lord. I'm just a kid. I feel like a kid sometimes. I feel like a youth, like I'm still not certain of my ground, like too much is still changing for me. I want to make excuses, and I want to deny my own fitness, my own readiness for the work. All the more so after I proved that without some really good support, I actually can't do the work. But if I take seriously the discernment of this community and the discernment of the Committee on Ministry and my own discernment, my own process of listening to God's call, then I have to take seriously the words that God says to Jeremiah. That you, God says, will go where I send you, and you'll tell them what I tell you to tell them. God touches the mouth of the prophet and says, see, I have put my words in your mouth. And that's an awesome and terrifying responsibility. But I sort of don't have a choice. It's been a call that I have been unable to deny. I have tried to say, Lord, I'm not ready. I'm a man of unclean lips. I am a youth. I'm not fit for this. And God says, yeah, whatever. Just get moving. I don't know why God has sent me to this place at this time. I don't know why God has sent Dick. I don't know why God has sent any of us anywhere. I don't know what God's purposes or God's plan is. I know that there is a plan, and I know that usually I figure out what the plan was afterwards. But I know that there is always a plan. There's always something going on, whether I can see it or not. And I know that the first thing that I mean to do, now that I'm here, is to make some space and to create some time. I am not here to insist that we are all instantly going to be bosom buddies and we're going to have these authentic and vulnerable conversations with one another starting at coffee hour this week. I am here to say that we are going to make space for one another to be patient with one another. That we can come to love one another. In the words of a song that has meant so much to me at a spiritual and a deep emotional level, you can't hurry love, no, you just got to wait. Love don't come easy, it's a game of give and take. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to give one another time to grow and to learn, and we're going to have conflicts, and we're going to address them, and we're going to laugh with one another. We're going to make room. We're going to be patient. And then we'll see what God has in mind next. Amen.